Hey, I'm Dr. Glenn Livingston, author of Never Binge'nen, with a welcome message for my Korean readers. I spent a lifetime thinking that I had a very serious eating problem because there was something wrong with me psychologically. Even though I'm a psychologist, from a family of 17 psychologists, I thought there must be a hole in my heart, and if I could fill that hole in my heart with love and nurturing and spiritual pursuits, that I would stop trying to fill the hole in my stomach. Unfortunately, I wasted 25 years looking for that answer. I was about 280 pounds. My triglycerides were through the roof. They were over 1,000 at one point. The doctors were warning me that I wasn't going to live to 40 years old. I'm 55 now, 56 next week. And that if I wanted to get better, that I had to lose weight, but I couldn't. I couldn't stop thinking about food. I couldn't stop eating food. And I just went through all of these psychological pursuits to try and fix the problem. Ultimately, what fixed it for me was a combination of knowledge of the big food industry and the big advertising industry, where I was consulting, seeing that they were developing these hyperpalatable concentrations of starch and sugar and fat and oil and excitotoxins, which were targeted at our reptilian brain that doesn't know love, by the way. The reptilian brain knows eat, mate, or kill. That were targeted at the reptilian brain, trying to hit our bliss point without giving us enough nutrition to feel satisfied. And that external force, that was an entirely external force that had nothing to do with my upbringing, it had nothing to do with the fact that I wasn't happy in my marriage. It only had to do with the fact that the fat cats in white suits with mustaches knew how to hire these rocket scientists to engineer these substances that made me want to look for love at the bottom of a bag or a box or a container. And I realized that I needed to more aggressively take control of the lizard brain. If the lizard brain doesn't know love, I'm not going to be able to love myself out of this food problem. What I need to do is take superiority, take control of the problem, the same way that I take control of my bladder or even my reproductive organs. If I'm in the middle of a meeting and I really have to pee, I don't urinate right there. I finish the meeting and I go later, because I tell my bladder, even though you've got a very strong biological urge, that there's a time and a place for that, and I'm in control, you're not. And I started to look at those impulses to overeat in much the same way. And I did that by creating very clear and simple rules, by structuring my mind in terms of the constructive versus destructive thoughts with a very simple system, which was very effective. And I'm about 209 pounds this morning. I fluctuate between 200 and 209 as opposed to 280 where I was. I no longer suffer with my psoriasis or rosacea or eczema. I have it in tiny little bits. You can kind of sort of see it, but not really. My autoimmune problems have largely disappeared, and I've been a relatively thin guy for, probably about 10 years now. So I hope that you will read this book with an open mind. It's different. It's a very different kind of book. It's not what you would expect from a clinical psychologist. It's not even what you would expect from a guy in the food industry. It's a very different kind of book. But to my surprise, when I published it in 2015 in the United States, it took off, and we've got over 500,000 copies in distribution and over 5,000 reviews, and it wouldn't be like that if it wasn't really helping people. Every day I get letters from people who say, thank you, you're saving my life. So I hope that it works for you. You gotta read it with an open mind. It might make you angry. That doesn't mean it won't work. It's okay with me if you're mad, but most importantly, I wanted to help you. So give it a shot, see what you think, and thank you so much. Thank you. All my best.